Okay, so now that you've chosen your crew and your ship, and you've placed them all in their correct stations, make sure that you have all your cards set up as well. And now your ships, of which again we're going to use something from X-Wing and of course a Destiny Aurora. There's two ways to begin the game. The shorter game, you'd start directly on the planet, which we'll probably end up doing, or the longer game, which probably adds about 20 minutes of game time, you'll start on two different planetoids. So the Destiny Aurora, since they are coalition, will start on planet Earth, and the Icarus is Renegades, so it'll start in Port Saven. However, we're probably going to play the shorter game, so I'm going to play single player. But we'll leave them there for the time being. And I want to go through the other types of cards. So then we're going to click a mission. We're going to collect a mission. So there's a deck of mission cards. Again, we'll not finish our work. And we'll read through that, but I'll do that in a second. Also, we're going to add the mission planet color. So once you've placed everything and you have no idea which planet is the mission planet till you get basically into orbit. So that could change strategy based on where you start. So once everything's placed, you see that Destiny Aurora has to go further than the Icarus to get to the green planet, and vice versa for the red planet. So again, that could change your strategy based on what your end mission planet ends up being. So let me go through the different types of cards. So we have weapons and gear. Now these are types of weapons and gear that you're going to be able to purchase between missions. In the meantime, also the salvage can correlate to these same types of gear, and as well as what's in these canisters could also correlate, and those will be a different deck of cards, but they will have the same content. So we have things like this obviously attaches to your ship, space mine, and you'll see the ship icon, tracking torpedoes, and you'll see a little icon that says 3 there. That's how many energy tokens go on this card. Obviously, once the energy tokens are gone, you use it. Everything here has a limited life. Same with grenades. Now, grenades obviously for the planet's surface. And you'll see an icon here. Everything is on top. Click that. Everything is on top of the card, so you can stack them onto your characters easily. And you'll see it has a little token for a bag. So it shows it's an item as opposed to a weapon. Space mine, I think I already put up there. Improved console navigation. And again, that's a +1 to movement and a +1 to defense. Shield augmentation. And then you have, again, stuff on the planet. This is a melee weapon. Adds +1 to 2 attack dice, and it's a Portland axe. Arc Pierce pistol. Of course, we have the jetpack, which makes your characters flyers, so you can go over those terrains. An neural dampening rifle, which is basically a stun on top of a damage, and of course additional ammo. So these are all things that you can either purchase or find on the planet's surface or in space. You'll have an armory for each one of your ships, and so your characters will start out with emergency transport device, arc pistols. Arc pistols have no bonus and of course don't deplete, but they do give your character range. And an arc blade, which will give your character additional melee. So you'll have 3 arc pistols for each one of your 3 characters that goes on the planet's surface, and then 2 additional items that you'll be able to give to individuals as they go. These cards here are basically reference cards for villains and warriors and basically your commanders, your villain commanders. Again, not final art. It's taken just so that we can gameplay. And these are characters that can pop up during missions. Some of them have to do with epic endings. Epic endings are after you complete missions. So if you're playing single missions, then it doesn't apply. But if you're going to play campaign-based, then you and your team members say, okay, we're going to play 3 missions, and those missions, as you can see from this one up top, I don't know if you can, it's blurry, but it says Civil War. So that would be that particular campaign you'd be starting. Certain missions can actually do two or 3 different campaigns. We're going to be starting with only 3 campaigns for the core set, and of course add additional campaigns. So let's say you say, okay, we're going to do 3 campaigns from Civil War, or 3 missions from Civil War. So you'll have 3 different missions, and then after the 3rd mission, the epic ending will start, and that will all be in the mission booklet. So we're going to talk about world event cards now. Once your characters are on the planet, after they've gone a single turn, after all the characters have gone, from all different ships, then a world event happens which will end that particular series of that particular round. So some things for world events that can happen, which could change basically what happens and where characters are placed. You have an earthquake, so your character can possibly take damage and then move based on how much damage they take, which could change things drastically. Space debris, which does a lot of damage to ships that are in space. Mutiny. You get a mutiny on your ship if your captain's not on it, and then when the captain returns, they may not be captain anymore. Location fire, which of course can alter going into certain rooms, and a siphon fighter attack, which means that the enemy fighters will appear in space. Random creature attack, and when that happens, we have a creature deck. So it tells you put them in a random location. So in this case, a fire angel will appear and we'll go to the location deck, and we pick out a arboretum, which is a side thing, and the arboretum is actually over here, which we're going to actually eventually call the chasm. So he will show up over here, and he will then gravitate towards the highest initiative character, and that's how that works. And one of the other world events is enemy attack. So we also have a whole enemy deck. Of course, I only have 2 of them here, but I have a whole deck of them. So it depends on what you draw about which enemies appear. So in one case, it's the Siphon and the Zerathi together, and of course the characters are randomly, how many appear are randomly drawn, and then Barada and Warriors, that means that it's a Siphon with a commander. And again, they will show up in a random location, so you'll pick a random card, and then they will show up in that room and go from there. So, and they will gravitate, the commander will gravitate towards the highest initiative character. Actually, he will go after Lexa initially, since I have arch enemies here. If not, then they will, if the warriors will just gravitate towards whoever's closest and just fight. And that's how the NPCs work. But again, so that's the different types of cards. The only other type I'd like to talk about is the tactical cards, which will probably not be going in the core deck, but will probably be going in the expansions. Tactical cards, so you'll have tactical cards for orbit and tactical cards for surface. And tactical cards attach to your commander only. So that's why you have 2 different types, because it based on where your captain is during that turn. So he'll have to do tests for various things, and gives your ships or your crew additional things, like they can inspire, and it gives your crews or your ship additional bonuses based on what they have, like weapons recharge. It allows you to do 2 attacks, things to that effect. But again, we'll probably have those in the expansion, and it will also change the strategy of the players as they go, and of course augment their characters in the future. So as you can see here, I also have a deck of upgrade cards. So in between missions, you'll have shore leave. We'll have an additional little mat that has port saving and earth on it, and you'll upgrade your characters. So you'll turn over X amount of upgrade cards, and those upgrades are what are available to you this turn, and you see that there's a price on the bottom. So as you do missions, you'll get money, and that money will then be spent on upgrading your characters or getting additional weapons or even adding additional crew. Because remember that your capacity, even to start with, is 7, and you're only starting with 5 people. So you'll be able to add additional people that won't actually inhabit a station to begin with, but naturally when you have people go on the planet, as far as away teams, then you'll need those additional people to jump in. So this particular upgrade card allows to increase your pilot's wing value, which again also controls how your ship works. And or you can take somebody else that's not a pilot and train them to be a pilot. So medical breakthroughs also increase your medic's capability. Stealth training, and I'll explain to you how training works for actually how stealth works. And that's very important for this game, is sneaking around. And then, of course, fight training for melee attacks and things to that effect. And, of course, we have ranged weapons upgrades and all that as well. And that's pretty much all of the cards, different types of cards for the games. Obviously, there's quite a bunch of decks. And I guess we'll jump into how to start playing. All right, and that'll be in the next one.